Sometimes the passion that one puts into music can be the most important thing. Combining that whilst finding genuinely new ways to shake up a genre is a damn feat, but today's band pulled it off so well. Forming in Los Angeles, California in 2002 and breaking up sadly in 2017, Letlive knew that their mark was well made when they split up, which sucks to admit. Still, lead singer and sole remaining member since the band's conception, Jason Butler, does have a new band which sound pretty alright. They're called the Fever 333 and you should listen to them while you can because they sound very good. But they don't have an album out yet, yet alone the three are required to force my hand for a backtracking episode. Still when I had to talk about that, so let's talk about this band instead. It's Backtracking, and this time it's Letlive. Let's face the music. We start with the band's debut album, Speak Like You Talk. Released in 2005 through the At One label, this would be the only album released on that label, and as for the producer, I couldn't find anything, but it's safe to say that it was the band themselves, considering something that we'll get into a little bit later. This is also the band's shortest album at 44 minutes and 32 seconds, and despite being the shortest, it technically has the most tracks, and more tracks of any album that I've ever heard with a total of about 69. So you might be wondering, Jake, you vacuum of charisma and joy, how could that be possible? Well, randomly insulting person, I'll tell you, and fuck you for what you said. 8 of the songs are individual. One of the songs titled 2 and 6.8 billion is split into 3 parts, and the final track is titled You Are Not Your Username, which adds the extra 58 parts to equal 69. Also, I'm going to say that number again because it brings me joy inside. 69. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So, in terms of lyrical content, Letlive lays some pretty good groundwork. Right from the start, there is political stuff, things about the city life in California, and religion as well. In the hands of a lesser artist, this could be handled poorly. In the hands of Letlive, it's handled with the chaotic energy that you've come to expect from them. Surprisingly, for a debut hardcore punk-style album, you'd expect things to sound a lot messier, but that's not the case. There's a lot to go around for this one, and there's a lot for different people to enjoy about the band. It's surprisingly accessible, which often isn't said about albums with this manic sound, but it holds true, I think. I guess that's the best way to describe Letlive as a band, really. They'll surprise the hell out of you, but in a good way. Although the structuring might seem a bit odd at times, but it's still brought across well, balanced greatly with the lyrics and bringing the right messages across like simile for physical contact. So yeah, it's got a great tone too. It's being aggressive and showing some awesome work ethic and bringing the messages across quite well. Jason Butler is honestly one of my favourite vocalists personally, and even at the tender age of 19 at this time, or 20, his birth year changes from 1986 to 1985, it's weird. But he shows a good range with the screams going high, low, and all over the shop, along with great clean singing. The guitar work of Omid Majesty and Ben Sharp combines to make some great riffs that sound heavy and play fast and mean. Christian Johansson's bass work is also good, adding a surprisingly good groove to things and keeping a good balance, and Adam Castle's drumming is also great, with the mean double bass and awesome snare work. Standout songs include Incest as a Legacy, Skin Fuck Metal, Stig Mother, not Mothers, Punk's Not Dead, Jesus Is, and my favourite in the 3-part song, 2 and 6.8 billion. From their first album, Letlive showed their willingness to tell, or rather scream, a great story, with surprisingly good production value, awesome lyrics, and good structuring and balance. I can recommend this one. Next is the band's second album, Fake History, released in 2010 through Tragic Hero. This one was produced by the band themselves alongside Kit Walters, who has done a fair bit of work before, and I've covered his stuff. This album also features my first Letlive song in Mother, featuring Chelsea Warlick. Before I go on about the album, though, I have a story. So, the year was 2013, and I was just an idiotic 21-year-old, as opposed to being an idiotic almost 26-year-old now, just casually watching Kerrang one day, and this song came on. I liked the video and the song both, and it was cool. But then, the video for Banshee, in brackets Ghost Fame, played, and I couldn't help but notice the change in sound and appearance for Jason Butler, who'd grown a rather handsome beard by this point. Anyway, yeah, listened to Mother first, then Banshee, and then wound up getting more into the band and listening to their third album, The Black is Beautiful. That's a little more long-winded than most of my band stories, but I still like how it came across Letlive. Anyway, this album does mark a ridiculously huge time gap of 5 years since the band's last outing, but you can tell that the band spent that time tightening things up. They also got a new lineup, which is considered the band's most iconic one. Butler stays and is joined by new guitarist Jeff Sayun and John Francisco Nascimento, new bassist Ryan J. Johnson, and new drummer Anthony Rivera. And they all play off of each other really well, even though this would be Anthony's only album with the band, but more on that later. In terms of structure, the album is absolutely relentless. I have a friend who calls this his favourite album of all time, and whilst it's not that for me, nor is it my favourite Letlive album, it is damn fucking awesome. If I were listening to this type of music back in 2010, this album could have been on the short list alongside Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold as my favourite albums of that year. It is that good. There are softer moments, but the balance is what strikes gold, and the production is outstanding. The lyrics do cover more topics, such as loss of friends and drug loss, confusion over Jason's own faith, and the song Mother is about when Jason's own mother cheated on his father whilst he was on tour not long after Jason found out that he had what he at the time thought was cancer, but it was just a misdiagnosis. I know I said that Buddy Nielsen from the last episode had a hard time with it, but at least he wasn't born half black and half white and forced to grow up in an American ghetto and look after his younger sister at the same time. Silver linings? I guess? Anyway, the band all perform well, with Jason adding so much more range to both his vocals and lyrics, sounding cleaner and smoother and more passionate. The guitar work is great with awesome riffs and surprising technicality from Jeff and Jean. Ryan's bass work is brilliant too, sorry, itchy nose. With good drive and a damn good groove to things, and Anthony's drumming is furious, well-paced, and just flat out fun to listen to. Standout songs include H. Ledger, Casino Columbus, Renegade 86, the closing song in Day 54, and my favourite in Mother, which just kinda holds a special place in my heart. Fake History shows the band's passion and drive combined with awesome production, great lyrics, and absolutely unrelenting fury. I recommend this one a lot, it's good. Next is the band's third album, The Black is Beautiful, released in 2013 through Epitaph and produced again by Kit Walters and Letlive alongside Stephen George. This is also their longest album at 45 minutes and 36 seconds. Also, this was the first album that I listened to by the band from front to back, so that's a nice little fact. Speaking of little facts, people might notice the label change. I usually don't bring these up, but I didn't really have time to bring up during my segment/paragraph about Fake History, so let's do it here instead. So, Fake History was released through Tragic Hero in 2010, yes, but a year later the band released it through Epitaph, and it caught the attention of the hardcore community, basically making the band's name. Then this album came out, and at just the right time too, it seems. I'm kind of glad that I listened to the 2010 version of Fake History because it's very clear to hear the differences in record labels. I often don't bring that up, and I genuinely do like what Tragic Hero did for Fake History, but I freaking love how Epitaph handled The Black is Beautiful. The production value is staggering. This honestly might be one of the best produced albums I've ever heard, with amazing usage of effects and timing that don't bury anything, and making everything sound cleaner and the band members sound better, which is exactly what good production should do, and what great production does better. It's not even a case of too many cooks behind the booth. I mean, there's technically 5 people if you count the 2 producers in the band themselves, but nothing is overblown, nor does it go to waste. Speaking of the band members briefly, the band didn't have a drummer going into this album, so Christopher Crandall stopped by to help, which is nice. Anyway, production aside, there is more, where was I? The structuring is well handled too. I accidentally skipped a line, my apologies. This album does show the band's more political side as well as some slow stuff, which would be a great precursor for the band's next album. Still, everything sounds great, with some songs sounding like stuff from their first 2 albums, but it's just got enough twist that it's not repetitive or boring, same with the lyrics. Jason's passion is once again on full display, employing a manic screaming range and great singing with a lot of emotion. Jeff and Jean's guitar work is also great, with even some shines of solos from Jean to go with his really good keyboard work, which I forgot to mention for the last album. Ryan's bass sounds amazing too, with more drive and depth of things, and Crowell's drumming is pretty good, even though he's just a session member. Still, he impresses with good speed, balance, and timing. Standout songs include Banshee, in brackets Ghost Theme, Virgin Dirt, That Fear Fever, Dreamer's Disease, and my favourite in the closing song, 27 Club. Mixing more experimentation and production with their expanding range of sounds, Letlive churned out another solid piece of very artful punk rock indeed. I can recommend this one too. Shame this was only my second favourite album of 2013 because it was damn good. And I will be getting eventually to the band that did give me my favourite album of 2013. I think they're on this list, actually. But we'll get to that when we get to it. And finally, we have the band's 4th album and their last one before their breakup last year, If I'm the Devil. Released in 2016 through Epitaph, this one was once again produced by the band themselves alongside Justin Pilbrow. It will feature a new drummer in Lonnie Robinson and would be the band's first and only album as a 4-piece if you count Christopher from their last album, even though he was just a studio musician because John left. So, yeah. The album also focuses a bit less on the aggression side of things, but I like that. Fuck it, now's as good a time as any to say it. This was my favourite album of 2016 for a lot of reasons, so let's go through them right now. I've said this before when talking about this album, even doing a video about it, wink wink, but sacrificing aggression while still sounding good as a band is hard to do. Hell, I don't even think that the band needs to be super heavy to be good, they just need to be good, and because of that, this album is damn good. The production side is handled well, and once again, the band knew what they wanted when it came to that. In terms of structuring, the album doesn't sacrifice any great build-ups to choruses, with the instrumental sounding on point to deliver the right kind of punch that each song needs. The band added more elements of soul and such on their last album, but I dare say that If I'm the Devil is the most soul-punk sounding album that Letlive have ever made. Like I said earlier, it's less aggressive, but it's still got plenty of heavy moments and balance to make it memorable. There's just this new factor to things, and I can't fully explain it. Also, my phone went a bit crazy. The looks are sort of similar, but go with more depth like police brutality, race, culture, and love. The mixture of sounds is welcome too, taking the experimentation that they did on the Black is Beautiful, but getting the right amount of change out of it. It's a great example of progression, and it's done perfectly here, with the production taking more of a backseat, but still making things sound clean and polished with a nice emphasis on the overall structuring of things. Structuring, not structuring. I don't know what structuring is. Jason's vocals sound better, cleaner, with his screams also sounding well balanced too. Jeff's guitar work is solid with awesome riffs and soulful solos. Ryan's bass continues to be a great driving force, plucking deep and sounding damn good, and Lonnie's drumming is pretty good too, adding a good background tone to things with great sweeps and heart pounding on the skin. Standout songs include Good Morning America, A Week Ago, Who You Are Not, Reluctantly Dead, and my favourite in the closing song, Copper Coloured Quiet. Alliteration. With If I'm the Devil, Letlive worked long and hard on getting pretty much everything that they wanted out of it, and they pulled it off. Even though they broke up a year later, they went out with a huge bang with great lyrics, production, performances, experimentation, and subject matter. I can recommend this one as well. So, let's round them up. Most favourite is probably If I'm the Devil, just sounds amazing, soulful, artsy, without being pretentious, and a good benchmark for the band, setting quite a high bar, I think. Least favourite is probably Speak Like You Took, but I still really like it. The band have just gotten better as they've gone along, but each of their own still sound great. They just knew the right calls to make themselves better each time. Anyway, yeah, this has been quite a short outro. I don't have a lot else to say, except for I'll see you in the next episode where I'll be taking a trip to Wales because I'm covering Bullet for my Valentine. See you all then, and as always, thank you for listening. You're awesome. Bye-bye!